Hi, John Solari. We're going to talk a little bit about, Sharon and I, before our guests come in, about casting directors. I was at the Screen Actors Guild last night. Actually, I thought I was going there to learn about how to run a camera and how to work Skype. But it turned out there was about casting directors talking to us about how to do on-camera videos, well, not videos, whatever you call it now, to be able to send it to them and how important it is. And they were really, and Pam Dixon was one of the casting directors there, Bonnie Gillespie, along with Alan Sowell, I guess how you pronounce it. And really they were very interesting, and I was just, I want to ask Sharon, and she was, about casting directors. My rabbi as a casting director was Joanna Ray. I hope she's still casting, because she had me in almost everything I did. But it's really interesting what they were saying, and you can go back on Move, and SAG, and see the show.
The website on Screen Actors Guild after.
Now you were saying you didn't deal with a lot with casting directors in your time.
My casting director was Carol Jones in New York, and she cast me in a U.S. Steel Hour, and part of the U.S. Steel Hour is live.
Right.
It was live.
Oh, back then.
And the 15 minutes live was on me, and she said, I ran into her at before she died not too long ago. Oh. I ran into her at the Academy, and she said, did I have guts or not to hire you from Sioux City, Iowa, to play this role? Did I have guts as a casting director or what? Because, 15 minutes, who knew what you were going to do or what was going to happen? He said, you did fine, and it was great. Yeah. But did I have guts or what? And she was like a little petite redhead she had a pixie kind of haircut, Carol Jones, and she also cast me for Can't Buy Me Love.
Can't Buy Me Love.
She always, I haven't found a casting director that, I don't know them, because when I came out here to Los Angeles, I was so hot that I was already cast. So right. I didn't go through casting directors.
So you were cast by the directors or the producers?
The producers probably. Oh, she's hot, put her in it, and then,
right.
do it.
But the casting back then was a lot different. Last night, Pam Dixon was talking about...
She's wonderful.
Yeah, she is. I read for her many years ago, I believe. But she was talking about she likes to see people on generals, which is something they don't do today, really.
What's a general?
Well, general's when you go in to meet the casting director.
Just go in and meet.
Yeah, like I did with Lynn Stallmaster. My agent back then was Mikkel Jennings, Sharon DeBoer.
Oh, yeah.
Right.
We both have the same agent.
Yeah.
Oh,
and they would send me out on generals.
Wonderful.
Jane Jenkins and all of them. And you would sit down and you would meet them. So they had to understand what you were like, beside reading.
Yeah.
You wanted to know the person.
Yeah,
like we're doing this show.
Sit with them, talking.
What the show is about how we get to know who you are and not reading. So that's what a general was, and I'm surprised that you didn't go on them.
I did in New York City, in Carol Jones. She just had me in for absolutely everything. She wanted me to go on tour with Mary Martin, and I wanted to stay in New York. I didn't want to go on tour someplace. I didn't need to see Europe. I came to New York to be an actress. I had no desire to travel.
What was Mary Martin do then? Was that
it was Peter Pan.
Peter Pan.
And, I didn't want to do that. And she got so mad at me. She said, "You would have stayed out of so much trouble if you would have just done what I told you to do."
And looking back,
we were sitting at the Academy, and she's talking about 30 years, 40, 50 years ago,
So you must have got a lot of trouble then for her to sing.
Oh, well, yeah, Fidel,
Well,
with,
that's different, but
with
looking back,
Che
you think
Guevara
maybe you should have
and
taken her
Andy
advice?
and everything else, right?
You think you should have taken her advice?
No.
Okay. Just curious. I mean,
no, it's like I'm like Frank Sinatra. I'm doing it my way, and it's like who cares? It's like it's fun to make your own choices and do what you want to do. It's like when I had a baby, I just taught him not to hurt anybody, not to hurt himself, but get away with murder if he can. And he's a really nice person. I don't even know how he turned out that good, because I I kind of thought I was a bad mom, you know.
Well,
But he thinks I was a great mom.
well, actually, he
don't know.
does. He still, you guys have a talk. But I want. It was interesting about sending these videos, and if any people out there know how to, I don't know how to do the links. Do you know how to do the links?
You know something, I have Actors Access. So,
I have that. Is there a link on
yeah, there. Well, you just, if it's not on there, you can't do it.
Right.
So you have to learn how to do the link. But Carolina Sivas, she would come here and she would teach you in 2 seconds.
Well, that's
she
what
does
we
that
need.
all
I
the
need
time.
to learn how to do that.
I know it. It's just like really important. It's really important. Did they say how to do it?
Well, they didn't say how to do it, but they just said. I guess they figure you know. But the important thing that they did talk about, especially Bonnie Gillespie, and she was talking about how important it is to send them a home, a camera of a scene or monologue or whatever you
something
do.
we're doing.
It doesn't have to be from an old film or what. You could do it right now. And I'm sitting there thinking, well, right now I'm working on Cap's last tape by, Beckett, Samuel Beckett. And that, or I could send
What
in.
kind of a role is that? I don't know that one.
Oh, he just sits there and he's reminiscing about tapes that he did 30 years ago. He used to tape record everything, all his thoughts.
Huh.
And he sits there and he listens to most of the play. You hear his voice of 30 years ago, and he's just listening and he's reacting to the sounds, the memory, which is a great exercise for an actor. Not to say nothing.
Just to sit
Just
and
to
react.
listen, yes.
Yeah, to really listen to
And really listen.
Yeah, you have to really.
John Hurt just did it here in L.A. again. But it's brilliant. But with that, or the Executioner song, the Gary Gilmore letters, which are very powerful. I was thinking of doing that, but I have to learn these links. That's what they're talking about. And she says that.
Well, there's a thing called drop off or something like that.
There's a few they
and there's
mentioned.
Vimeo and.
She says Vimeo, most casting directors use now.
Really? Well,
It's the
Vimeo
easiest.
Vimeo is pretty easy because you can go to Vimeo and they'll tell you how to go through it.
But I tried to upload some of our shows.
Yeah.
And they said it was too long or too.
You have to cut it shorter, right?
Yeah. So maybe what you're saying, that we could do maybe.
Paula. I did like an interview with her for like. Oh, we're like
Who's
talking
Paula?
for
Oh, that.
Paula.
Oh, yes,
Paula
yes.
Soapbox.
It's on
Paula
all the
Soapbox.
shows, you're right.
.com. And she.
That's on the
this-
Skype, and they were talking about it, how they really, it's all right for an interview, but it's not good for.
a casting director.
Yeah, they said
No,
it's
that
good.
wasn't-
No.
Oh, okay.
What I'm saying is that it's not good for a scene, but an interview, yes, because it stops and people, you don't know if it's working right or what.
Well, what you could do? It's just do it and then just cut it off because casting directors, number one, for every role that they see, they are looking at pictures that are skimming by. Just skimming by, and then they don't have time, and then they'll look at a character, and then they'll watch part of something, and they can tell right away. They don't watch the whole thing.
Well, that's not. And now last night she
So you
said
can cut it
something
off
different.
anywhere. She did. What did she say?
They said they will look at. They like. There's very few people send in a recording like this. They do send their pictures.
Yeah.
But what they see, and you might not be right for this role, but they'll see something in that, and they look at them. They do look at them, the reels, which is not, a lot of actors don't realize.
Well, this gal.
Which one? Pam?
Pam Dixon. She's a class act. So she probably does, but a lot of them don't
she
do
does.
that.
And Bonnie said she does.
Bonnie does too, huh?
And this other fellow he's more of a writer, director, producer. He's not a casting director. He does his own casting. Now he said too, he likes to look at that. And what he said, what I like as an actor when I go in, is not to stick with the script, the lines. A lot of times I'll go in if I know what it's about.
Yeah.
And I don't have to use their lines. I can turn it around and use my words sometimes.
I have such respect for writers, though I could just never do that.
Well,
I just really.
yeah, of course
I
you're going to
really-
use their lines in the play. I mean, in the
When you do it,
when you do it,
you'll do that.
But instead of trying to memorize everything and then you screw it up, if you have, you could try to do lines, but if you know what it's about, and if you just go with it and see where it takes you.
Yeah, that's a good idea. That's a good idea.
And I've done that. I did that with The Girl Gets Mo. Remember
When the girl what?
The Girl Gets Mo. Remember when
You need to
Nadine,
do that toothpick because your
Yes.
tongue is getting lazy.
when yeah, it's true. Nadine was the script girl
Yeah. Oh yeah.
on that. Now I told you when I went in to read for it, it was a different way, and I did it different. I did it my way, like you just
Yeah,
said,
yeah.
Sinatra, and I got the part.
Yeah.
I changed the lines, everything. I just went in and did it the way I felt
Well, they're looking.
the character should
yeah. Because listen, when we get this our age, and when you go to Google and you look at our credits
Yeah.
that just keep going and going and going and going and going, they know we're good. They know that we're actors and we're good. But it's like for them to see something that's now.
Right.
That's the clip on us now, whether we're fat, thin, or we got baggy eyes down to there, if we still look like a person, or we just got a facelift and we look
that's
like
the other
that,
thing with
they want to see us.
with the pictures. Now
Yeah.
they said about the pictures. A lot of times they look at pictures, they don't know if you still look like that.
Oh, and the pictures, we had this show, Carolina Sivas, this Broken at Love.
Right.
We had this show where it was a movie within a movie kind of thing, because we were casting guys, and it was about casting young guys.
Uh-huh.
And they'd have a picture, and it was like this sexy Marlon Brando look, he's just like great looking guy, and he'd come in like, go, 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 here I am, go, 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 and it was like two different people.
Right. That's why they
Two
said
different
that.
people. It was like that picture, it's like people like get their pictures touched up, and my pictures, I don't do anything with them. They're just pictures, and they just
Well, it's
show
not
the whole
that.
thing.
When you send in the camera now they're looking at you and I right now.
Yeah.
You say we send this in.
Yeah.
That's what they look like.
Well, you know something. I was up for something, and if we could have done something together, there was a thing that was so great because there was two older people that wanted to. It was like in the future, and
Right.
they came in and they want to be euthanized.
Yeah, but it's
it's
not
in the
union. I
future.
can't work it. And you listen.
Oh,
you want to talk about?
Yeah, I should get out of FICOR. I wanted to be able to work non-union too, and I couldn't do it with the Screen Actors Guild thing. So I went FICOR, and I did this student film with these two guys, and it's it's called Shepherd, and it's like they told me one thing, and then it turned out to be something else. They totally lied to me.
Well, a lot
They
of that.
really lied to me. No, a union person would not do that. It's
No, I'm
against the
saying a lot
law.
of these, I'm telling a lot of these non-union films.
Oh, my agent, Steve Stevens, he didn't even want me to do it. And Carolina Sivas said, you don't want to do this. And I wanted to do it. I did it anyway because this one guy talked me into it. He said, this is going to happen. I will get you a reel where I'll get all of your work together, and you'll have this wonderful reel, and you can cut it and you can do anything you want with it. I can't get a reel out of them.
I'm the only one that gives you the DVD.
I know it. It's like you work and you're working. So, because I've been gone for so long, I come back and people have to know.
You got to get back in the union. That's the bottom line.
Yeah. Okay.
And that's really the bottom line is to get back.
I
in
know
the
it's
union.
true because I can't go to things like this because when you're on
Right.
FICOR, you're kicked out of all the things that they offer. And right now, what they're offering
Is a
at
lot.
Screen Actors Guild AFTRA, they're offering like classes and to meet casting directors and all
it's all
kinds
free.
and it's free. And when you go to a casting director workshop, it costs $39. I was spending because I was going to these casting director workshops.
Right, but that's what you don't need. You don't need to be paying these people.
Well, it was.
And
I just.
That's MOVE, MOVE. That's
and you
part
go,
of SAG.
So you go to ScreenActorsGuild.com, or
Yeah,
how do you do
yeah,
that?
you go to that, but then
And
go on there, MOVE.
And then you
And
go
look it
to all
up.
these things.
And it's free
Yeah.
to join, and they do a lot of good work. There was something
Yeah.
they're doing this Saturday for the homeless. Yes.
Yeah, they do a lot. They do
Lot
a
of good
lot of
things.
wonderful things, and then they get the actors together,
Oh.
and the actors can see each other.
Ellen Crawford is the chairman. Jenny O'Hara is the vice chair. Jeff Jen Faith Brown. That's just Mike Genovese. I'm just giving you a couple of names.
These are the committee members.
Right, that are on there that you want to get in touch with. Ellen Crawford or Jenny O'Hara. I mean, those are the two main ones. And it's Clyde Sachs, who was supposed to run it.
Oh, this is, I love this. It says positively influencing the lives of actors and performers through training, forums, and events. MOVE provides member education, organizes to create more union employment, and strengthens existing contracts.
Union solidarity with labor community.
It's good.
They're really into the labor movement, not just SAG. Other unions, they're very that way. On
Great.
And their website is movela@sagafter.org. So that's movela@sagafter.org. You got that, right?
This is for all the
And here's
Screen
the
Actor
phone
Guild
numbers if you want to call.
What's the phone number?
It's 323-549-6894. If you have any questions or comments, just get in touch with them. Tell them John Solari, the delegate from Hollywood, we asked you to go along with Sharon
Yeah.
Farrell.
I've learned my lesson this spy course not to be done, because my experience doing this shepherd thing was just terrible. It was just incredibly wrong for them to treat actors the way they did.
Well, they did. Now you learn your lesson.
Yeah, I did.
So thank you, folks.